Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending the RailWorks virtual job fair event. I would like to introduce you to Eddie. Eddie will tell you about his company, job openings, and how to apply for those openings. Eddie, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Daniel. So RailWorks is a infrastructure construction company that focuses on maintenance and construction within the railroad industry. I'd like to get started with this video, and then we'll jump more into what we do as a company, what we have to offer.
RailWorks is the largest contractor in North America, handling various different rail services and construction. It's a company made up of around 3,500 employees. We have about 50 different offices in the US and Canada. So wherever the work needs done, RailWorks gets it done.
I think what makes RailWorks the industry standard is our ability to do large and small projects safely and efficiently.
I don't know if there is another track contractor that has the abilities we have.
We have amazing people, highly skilled people in what they do. Professionalism is second to none.
You don't do the same thing every day, and there's new challenges you face every day, which is exciting. With RailWorks, you're not just a number. They really value, appreciate, and reward hard work. One of the most rewarding aspects of the job is seeing the project being built. I also enjoy working with the guys out here. We have a very close-knit group of guys.
I think a key differentiator for RailWorks is our path to growth and leadership. I love working with the people. I love to see people develop. If you are a person that wants to grow and has ambition to move up the ladder or even across and do different challenges, this is a company that allows you to achieve your goals personal and as a team.
Thank you, Daniel. So as the video explains, we are a very large organization within the rail infrastructure industry as far as construction and maintenance. We also have subsidiaries of RailWorks that focuses on parts within the railroad industry, including a company called NARSCO. They focus on production and fabrication of steel railroad ties and turnouts. It's more of a manufacturing environment. There's 2 facilities in Texas, the DFW area. We also have other subsidiaries such as LK Comstock that focus on the transit industry, and also just different types of services related to maintenance away, including thermite welding and other signal and communication division within RailWorks as well. 3,000 strong, actually a little bit more than 3,000, and we're very busy. We're looking to fill many positions across the U.S., specifically in the Midwest region. We're looking for entry level, mid-career level, and salaried and seasoned employees or candidates as well. In terms of our entry level positions that are available, we're looking for track laborers, which is a general labor on the track or on the railroad. Lots of physical labor, including swinging sledgehammers, using shovels, picks, rakes, hand tools, and power tools. The natural career progression for a laborer is an operator or welder or driver. As someone moves up within the company and they start to do more skilled work, their pay does increase as well. We perform evaluations on an annually basis with merit increases attached to them if necessary. We have a great company culture. It is a teamwork environment. It is a safety oriented. So in terms of moving forward with the level, we're also looking for operations type folks, including estimators and PMs, and then even senior level positions, including safety, more specifically an assistant safety director that's remote that we're looking to fill. We're also looking to fill a remote sales director position. And so there's a lot of director level, mid-level, and entry-level positions that we have available. And that's just to name a few. Every week there's going to be a new need or a new project that we win or bid, and bid or are starting to work on. So it's always exciting. It's a dynamic work environment. There's always things to do. There's a lot of travel involved. but there's a lot to learning to do as well. So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions, and then we can continue.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Eddie. And as Eddie stated, for the folks that are on the call, if you do have any questions regarding employment opportunities with RailWorks, please feel free to enter those in the chat. We'll get those answered for you ASAP. Eddie, in the meantime, while we're waiting for some questions to come in, I do have some just general or standard questions, if you will, that I have already pre-prepared on my end that I'd like to ask you, just to give folks a little bit more information about RailWorks and what you guys have to offer, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie, how long does the hiring process typically take from the point of submitting an application to actually being extended that offer for hire?
We really pride ourselves on reviewing applications immediately, whether it's the same day or the very next day. Thereafter, we set up a preliminary phone screen with the recruiter if someone is qualified for the position. That's within 3 business days of when an application is submitted. Thereafter, within 2 business days, they are interviewing with a hiring manager or given instruction on when they will interview with the hiring manager. So that interview stage takes about 1 full week there. And then right after that, there's the drug screen and background check. That takes a few days. And then once we have the clearance and the green light and everything has cleared, then we set up orientation. So altogether, it could be from the day that someone puts in an application to the day that they're in orientation, about 10 to 14 days. And we try to make that quicker if we can, in terms of getting a quicker turnaround from our managers. Or we also need the candidate to be responsive to us on our interview request as well to make that happen.
Awesome. Thank you for that information, Eddie. And Eddie, another question that I do have for you is, how can applicants go about getting their questions answered? More specifically, application-related questions. Would you be the individual to reach out to, or how would they go about doing so?
Yes, sir. I would be the individual to reach out to by phone call, email, or by text message.
And Eddie, when you have a chance, could you enter that contact information into the chat?
Of course.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Eddie, another question that I do have for you is, are there any sort of like minimum educational requirements that applicants would need to possess in order to get that interview or get hired? You know, do they have to have like a GED as a minimum, high school diploma? Are there any sort of minimums that are required?
No minimums other than a good attitude, strong work ethic, previous work experience that is relevant to the job is preferred. However, for our entry-level positions, it could be someone that has no construction experience that just wants to get into the industry. We review, entertain, and hire from that candidate pool as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Eddie. And Eddie, I do see that you added your contact info there in the chat, so thank you for that. Next question that I do have for you, Eddie, is just kind of a general question again. It's, how can a candidate stand out and get an interview assuming they are qualified for the position in which they are applying? Are there any tips, pointers, any sort of information that maybe you'd like to share with folks to kind of maybe give them a leg up on the competition, so to speak?
Of course. So we get a lot of applications. So the process is quite easy to apply. To stand out, from my perspective, because our applications do have screening questions, is to really put input and thought into those questions that are being asked of you on the application, such as, how do you see yourself as a fit for RailWorks? We get anywhere from one word answers to a few paragraphs. And, you know, the ones that stand out to me are the ones that are specific to the question and answer the question. And that's separate from the experience. So the experience we always review. And if someone has the experience, they already stand out to us. So we'll contact them. But to kind of get a leg up on their, I guess, their peers, they would want to definitely answer those screening questions to their best of their ability, whether it's screening on travel requirements, such as 75% or more of the time we're traveling, or screening on background check and drug screen requirements, or a screening question on relevant experience. You definitely want to make sure you don't leave anything blank or anything to the interpretation of the recruiter. So you definitely want to fill it out to the best of your ability to save you time, save the recruiter time, and keep moving quicker.
Excellent info. Thank you for that, Eddie. And Eddie, another question for you. Again, pretty standard, but where can folks go about not only seeing the openings that are available at RailWorks, but also where to apply? Would it be the website that's up on the screen now, www.railworks.com?
Yeah, they can go to that website and then click on careers, or they can go directly to our careers website at jobs.railworks.com. And I've entered that into the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
And Eddie, can you kind of elaborate more on kind of that shift structure or the work structure that you described kind of briefly during your presentation there at the beginning? Can you kind of just give folks a little bit more idea as to what to expect maybe?
Of course, for the general population that is doing the craft hourly work, such as laborer, operator, mechanic, welder, etc., they could be traveling 75% of the time, anywhere from a week on and then a few days off, or 3 weeks on and 1 week off. It's just really a variation of a schedule just based on project demand and the need for that office. So there's no guarantee that someone's going to be home on a specific day of the month or a specific number of days of the month. That's why we do look for someone that's flexible in their time. So that's typically the schedule, 75% on, 25% local or down. And also for the separate part of the organization that's not craft hourly, the part of the organization that's within the office or in an office environment, they typically, more often than not, are working in an office and able to go home daily. And there may be some travel involved with their position, case by case basis, but we do have office positions available that are local.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Eddie.
Yes,
Eddie,
sir.
another question that I do have for you, you had mentioned travel. For folks that would be interested in those positions, would those expenses be reimbursed by the company or covered by the company?
Yes, so our traveling crews, they travel together in a company truck. The time that they're traveling is paid for. The per diem, they get a per diem as well, and they also have their room paid for. So there's nothing at their expense to go out of town. When they are out of town, just as a note, they typically work longer hours as well.
And then I'm assuming that would obviously mean probably overtime as well,
Yes.
right, Eddie? And if
Yes,
so,
sir.
at what point would that be triggered? A lot of folks might be interested in that as well.
40 hours.
Gotcha. Awesome. So next question that I have for you, Eddie, and I don't know if you touched upon it during your presentation, but again, pretty standard. What are some of maybe the standard benefits that RailWorks offers to its employees? And then if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, if you will, are there any sort of fringe benefits maybe that you'd like to just let folks know that are on the call or who will be tuning in later?
Yes, sir. We have a great benefits package, including medical, dental, vision, and a 401k with an employer match up to 3.5%. Our benefits are extremely competitive with Class 1 railroads and other contractors within the industry, and well above average for standard construction standards, really. So that's a little bit about our benefits package. It's very competitive, and if anybody wants to know more about it, please reach out to me.
Excellent. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie, a question that I actually do receive quite frequently on these events is, would misdemeanors or minor infractions be like disqualifying factors for folks that are interested in employment with RailWorks?
Great question. On a case-by-case basis, certain misdemeanors may disqualify someone. We are a DOT regulated organization, whereas also FRA regulated as well in different parts of our organization, and we have to comply with their rules and what they look for in an employee that works on anything that's regulated by them. So it just depends on the specific circumstance, and whether or not our client that we're doing work for would be okay with that specific circumstance on someone's background. So there may be a client that is okay with it, and there may be another client that isn't. So just depending on which job someone is applying to, and if that specific client is okay with it, then there should be no issue.
Understood. Thank you so much for that information, Eddie. And Eddie,
Yes, sir.
another question that I have for you, it's kind of a different question as well, but one that I do receive on my job fairs that have to do with, transportation, warehousing, manufacturing, manual labor, things of that nature. Does RailWorks provide any sort of stipend for boots, clothing, safety equipment, anything like that? Or would those things be expected to be paid for out of pocket?
Now we'll provide full PPE for an employee, with the exception of steel-toed boots. That'll be the only piece of clothing or PPE that an employee would most likely already have, but would be required to get on their own if they didn't already have it.
Understood. Thank you for that, Eddie. And Eddie, I do have one final question for you before we kind of begin the wrap up of today's session. That is, what are the opportunities for advancement within RailWorks, and are there any success stories maybe that you'd like to share with folks on the line, just to kind of illustrate maybe the opportunities that RailWorks has to offer?
There's hundreds of success stories within the organization, and the numbers support that. But one success story specifically that comes to mind is our executive vice president. His name is Richard Carney. He started with RailWorks as an operator in the field. He continued to develop and grow and gain responsibilities. And over the years, he started to lead crews, and then he started to lead projects, and then multiple projects. And then at which point he was promoted into an executive vice president level position, which has major responsibilities over a huge part of the organization. And that's one that really stands out to me. A lot of other superintendents within our organization, which is a leader within a project, they a lot of times, more often than not, have started out in the field as either a laborer or operator or driver. And we really strive to provide opportunities to continue to develop and challenge folks, and then reward and recognize them for their hard work.
Awesome examples. Thank you for that, Eddie. And Eddie,
Yes,
I
sir.
do want to give you one final opportunity before we wrap up today's session to give any sort of maybe summary statements, concluding remarks, maybe highlight something that you covered today as a takeaway, or maybe cover or add maybe something that you feel you might have overlooked during your presentation.
No, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate everyone that has attended. They have my contact as well. But one thing that I wanted to leave folks with is the fact that we are a huge organization with many opportunities to develop one's career in all types of settings, whether it's the field level setting or an office setting. In addition to that, these opportunities will continue to be something that we're in pursuit of and filling throughout the years. So if someone is not interested at this point, but maybe knows someone that's interested, may have a peer that's interested, please feel free to share my contact information with them, or share the organization with them. We would love to review their application and their qualifications, and reach out to them, interview them, and potentially hire them. So that's a couple of things that I wanted to leave folks with. And also, we're a great organization, a great company culture. I don't see many organizations out there that provide what we provide in terms of advancement, culture, team atmosphere, benefits, those combination of things, in addition to compensation, that really make us an employer of choice. So just look us up, keep us in mind. If you know anyone that's looking, please share with them as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you for
Yes,
that
sir.
presentation, and thank you for your time today. We know you are probably quite busy, so much appreciated. To the folks that were on the call, thank you as well for taking time out of your day to join the session. We hope, obviously, that it was fruitful and informative. Of course, we also hope that you follow up with Eddie and submit those applications. And then for the folks who will be tuning in at a later date, Again, just feel free to reach out to Eddie directly at RailWorks. I did want to just make a note here real briefly. The session has been recorded. So for the folks who are on the call, if you do want to go back and review any of the information that Eddie covered here today, or the video or anything else, please feel free to tune in. It should be uploaded later this afternoon and added to the RailWorks virtual job fair booth that you see on your screen. Thank you all for your time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.